following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys discuss upcoming Defy Life Top 10 MCs, Coming to America 2, Andrew Luck's retirement, and as always, they answer some listener questions and wrap things up with some trivia. All that and more. Let's get to it. Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check. Pull. Out. Money. West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it trail, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me, now who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, forget out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. On to the shy life. I'm gonna let this ride out though. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Heroes and Dragons, your go-to spot for all things comics and collectibles. Visit 1807 Bush River Road in Columbia, South Carolina, and ask for York. Tell them Defy Life sent you. Thank you for listening. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, GoDefyLife.com, everywhere your favorite podcasts are available. And as always, we encourage you to like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating whenever you listen. You can also find us on all social media platforms at Go Defy Life. This is episode 122, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glymph, Gerald Hedrick, West Coast J. What's good, Al?
Hey, man. It's all good. Happy August to you. It's kind of chilly down here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, we've been having 3-4 weeks of hot-ass heat, but last few days has been like fall type weather, and it's just changed my whole attitude, man. The summer had me all a little cranky. Last few days I just been feeling peaceful, man. I don't know what it is, but I gotta give it to the weather, bro.
Well, I knew something was good when you said happy August, like the whole damn month.
Saying,
you just like happy all that shit.
Good. Happy August, happy Tuesday, happy black man ain't been like laid off today, day.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, whatever you wanted, let's just be happy because I just feel good. Weather good. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, and as we were talking about before we got on, happy goodbye to 4-hour shows. So yeah.
I think that's part of it too. Like maybe that's why my mood is better because I'm getting more rest.
Right. Because if y'all anything like me, y'all I cuss all y'all out every Wednesday morning.
Oh yeah.
These mother.
Me and my wife cuss all
man,
y'all out.
Right. Man.
Just coming to bed. Yeah.
Oh man, right.
It was that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Money, what's good with you, man?
Yo, it's 2 for Tuesdays. It's the real himself, man. The real is back.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I wasn't able to be on the show last week, but I missed you guys. I'm back. I'm a ball of energy tonight, man. I've had a good time with these topics. I've had a good time, playing around on social media, wilding out on some things I've been seeing, checking out my baby bro Lip, some of his music, man. It's been a good evening, man. Just wilding out, waiting to get back with you guys, man. How are y'all?
No doubt, man. Everything's good. Shout out to Lip, man. By the way, we got to get that dude on the show.
Hey, we got to. I done told him 3 times he's gonna be on the show,
right?
And between him and his missions and all of that, but he's coming home for good probably in like another couple of. Actually, he'll be home this week.
Okay.
So so I'll definitely chop it up with him. Get him on the show, man.
No doubt. But yeah, man, it's good to have you back, man. We missed you last week. So quick question.
Yeah.
And we want you to be specific, precise, exact. How many hoes did you save last week?
Hey, man. Captain Savin was off duty last week.
No, we got it documented. According to last week's show, you was out saving hoes. So we don't lie on this show. Black men don't lie, black men don't cheat. So according to our notes, the memo that we got from our secretary here in our Defy Life offices here in downtown Nebraska is that money is out saving hoes. He will be out this week. That's what we got. So that
memo was not transmitted to me.
Hey, I don't know, but you need to check with your assistant because our secretary is never wrong. So your assistant got it wrong apparently, but so that's all we've been wondering all week is how many hoes you saved. So so we just went with 6.
We had a wager. I was about to say, didn't we have a wager?
Right, we had over under, and I think it's over under 5.5, and we went with 6. So yeah, how you save 5.5 hoes? I don't know, but hey, your captain save a hoe. Apparently, where there's a will, there's a way.
I understand. And relationship status got me ready to jump on back out there though, man.
Don't listen to them. No, definitely listen to them. Don't take heed to them. Everybody listen to them. Everybody needs to listen to relationship status. But yeah, don't mess with them, man. Have you cuffed up? Don't do that. Shout out to
everybody cuffed up except me, man. I got to change, man.
That's because you out there saving hoes. Can't get cuffed up saving hoes. But yeah, man. Shout out to Neek, Yusuf, and CL, man. Damn good show this week. As you guys do every week. Shout out to the Relationship Status Podcast. Check them out. Oh, man. West Coast Jay. What's goody, fam?
Man, I'm over here concerned with my wager. I had 7.
Oh.
So, you feel me? I'm feeling like, was it Price is Right rules? Like, did I go over and now my bid don't count no more? I don't know how this works.
Then the question would be, can you save too many hoes? I don't think so. Money? Is that possible? Is it possible to save too many hoes?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I mean, from my perspective, I believe that any one hoe that is saved is too many.
Hey. Well, that could be a good, like,
that's kind of harsh.
Well,
that's kind of harsh.
Hoes need to eat, and they need to be saved.
And they need love.
They definitely need to be saved, dog.
Right.
Man, I don't know if y'all are familiar with a movie called The Mac.
Goldie in the building.
Right. A lot of people think that movie was filmed in Chicago. It was not.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was filmed in Oakland, California, where the game came from.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
We do not save hoes. We send them.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with a movie called Boys in the Hood, where a classic philosopher by the name of Doughboy said, hoes got to eat too.
That's right.
Quote
unquote.
That's
fine.
So
I don't support this. Hey, we don't have to agree.
Snoop said we don't love him. He ain't say we don't save him.
Right. You could you can save a hoe every now and then. That's what I always heard. Every time a hoe is saved, a Corona gets its line.
So, didn't you listen to the show Body Bag Book? We don't know what these women were doing before.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, let's pause on that.
All of y'all.
Pause on that.
I got wow.
Oh, man. Well, which leads us right into
the West Coast delegation. Do not support that.
Well, speaking of Body Bad Books and all that stuff, Thomas Stevens will be kind of late tonight. He may not be joining us. We're just kind of up in the air right now. Apparently, he found a body bag book on the bookshelf, and he had to get to the bottom of some shit. So,
was he clean? Was he vacuuming? See,
I don't know.
Y'all,
well,
don't never vacuum by the bookshelf. I told y'all that.
We didn't get the details. His assistant sent it over to the secretary. All we know is he found the body bag book. That was the end of the memo. We'll address it when we talk to him again. So money was saving hoes last week. Pooh digging through body bag books. We need to get better memos around here. But we're just gonna run with it until right. But I like when y'all slack because we get to fill in the details. So yeah, apparently Pooh's vacuuming and he found a body bag book and Oh, then shit hit the fan. I don't know what happened. Probably in the middle of a Power episode. Who knows? I don't know. But oh man. So money, real quick. So Power's back, and which means Speak the Truth is also back. Listen to the episode for episode 1. First off, I want to know, since everybody's talking about it, what was your thought on the new intro song for Power?
Oh man, I saw all the jokes, and yo, I was like, what is this? Like, I mean, you tuned in, you ready to go, you ready to watch it, man. That really threw me for a loop, and
right.
I think the intro song is such a dynamic song. It kind of gets you ready for the episode, and and y'all know shit. I love Trey songs. I love Mrs. Still Your Girl.
Right.
I fucks with Trey heavy. I just didn't think the melody and the way they switched up the tempo and all of that was befitting of the show, especially how action packed it is. Yeah. I wasn't really feeling it as far as the show itself is concerned. Then Trey on a love song or whatever. Trey on your baby making playlist or whatever is cool. But him doing the Power joint the way they did it, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as gritty. Even 50s, I only watched the show, but I checked out the new song just because everybody was talking about it. And even the way 50 was rhyming, he was just like, it was how like when your team get down to the 3-yard line and you try to run reverses and bootlegs, and you're like, man, you're getting too cute. That's what I was just like. This shit's getting too cute. Just go with what works. So, yeah, man. Just wanted somebody from the show's insight on that, since everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, man. I saw something that said 50 said they're bringing the original song back.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, no more trying that new shit.
Cool. All right. Al.
What up, mate?
No. So, I'm excited, man. We have forthcoming the official Defy Life top 10 MCs in history list.
Oh yeah.
Coming up. Tell everybody about what we should be expecting, how you came up with the idea, and what all went into it, and how you came up with the results that we're going to announce here next week.
No diggity. So it was a few weeks back where there was a release of a top 10 list that had Joe Budden at 3. And that sparked some conversation amongst the brothers where, honestly, I think
that list must have been made by Helen Keller, apparently.
I have no idea, because I stopped even reading the content when I got to that point. Like, I just totally dismissed everything else related. Well, I don't need to be involved in this no more, and I stopped reading. But
Smart decision.
Conversation, that's just how I do. I ain't got time to waste with the bullshit. That's when you get to a certain point in your age, you can just see bullshit coming, and you be like, next thing, and just move on. So we started talking about it and having, sharing our opinions, and it was just like, yo, why don't we come up with our own list?
Right.
And the brothers felt it, like it's a good idea. We decided, instead of just keeping it amongst our show, let's send it to the entire Defy Life network to get the whole network's opinion. And what we did was we put a survey together of like all the MCs I could think of, and even missed one. So had to add E40 to the list. So I wasn't perfect, but 99.6% of people who y'all wanted to suggest, I had on the list. Shout out to E40, because he definitely deserves to be on the list.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with that list, once we put that list together, people had an option to select their top 20 MCs ever. So like with that entire list, you had to really narrow it down to your top 20, and it was kind of dope. Like just seeing people's opinions on, who they thought was their GOATs of all time. And so I took those 20 MCs, people's different, their selections, and basically I just gave each answer a point, but in reverse order. So if if on your list somebody was number 1, they got 20 points. Number 2 got 19 points, and so on and so on and so on. The 20th MC got 1 point, and then just tallied everybody's responses. And right. That was just kind of logical, simple methodology. This is what I do, and just like this makes sense to me. Hope people get it, and based on the consensus of us, I got the top 10 list. So I took y'all's 20 responses, and the top 10 scores are who I want to present to y'all as our GOAT list.
Well, this is gonna be dope, man. Like we talked a couple of weeks ago about not giving a shit about the NFL top 100. I got a feeling this is gonna be a little more contentious when it comes to these top 10 MCs released. My wife's best friend was down from New York here this last week, all of last week, and she was asking what we was gonna talk about on the show. And I just started mentioning we're doing a Defy Life top 10 MCs. So we started talking. Of course, like any conversation about top 10 MCs, got a little heated. And I like you, Al, I backed out when I gave my top 5, and she didn't have a top 5. And but she when I mentioned that this is not a secret, that Jay-Z is not in my top 5, she flipped. She almost jumped off the balcony, like she lost it. And like most Jay-Z fans, her reasoning was, I was like, why does Jay-Z have to be in the top 5? Why does he have to be number 1? Because he's Jay-Z. I quit at that point. But yeah, got a little heated. And when she said she's not familiar with the work of Andre 3000 and Black Thought, I backed down. I was like, you got this. You got this, B. I'm out of this conversation. So, yeah, I'm ready for it. So, yeah, so we will be announcing the Defy Life official top 10 MCs, collaborative top 10 MCs.
Collaborative,
yeah. So,
Al,
across the
dope
board.
too.
Yes, very, very, very much so. So we'll be announcing that on next week's show, and it'll be posted on GoDefyLife.com when the show releases next Wednesday. So y'all tune in for episode 123, so we can dig into them top 10 MCs. So appreciate that, Al.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
and I think one last closing argument, and it tends to surface when you're having these conversations, is what I was looking at the list. What I'm looking at the list is like, we have a diverse network. So in terms of where you were, what era where you were born at, maybe where you went to school at, just all of that. And so, I think it's going to be definitely an interesting conversation. But I'm proud of the list. I'm definitely proud of, could stand behind it, and just proud of that we did this. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, and just a quick sneak peek. We do, as one of our listener questions, again, this is across the network. So one of our listener questions for tonight is from Regular Scott in regards to MC lists and opinions on MCs and all that stuff. So
dope question.
Right, very, very dope question.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. We first we got one news tidbit. Again, everybody, this is our new abbreviated format. So we ain't gonna have y'all on here 3.5, 4 hours no more. Thanks, Yosh, for
made the church say
right. Our director of podcast, Yusuf English, has kind of streamlined all the shows. And my Wednesday mornings, thank you, Yoshi English.
Word.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
100%.
Damn right.
Who and I have been kicking around that idea already.
Man. Yeah. My Wednesday mornings, my wife, my manager, everybody thanks Yoshi. Everybody. Oh man. But
can we talk for 1 second about the your president dude wanting to drop nukes in the hurricanes? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Nah.
It's the most ridiculous shit it's literally the most ridiculous shit I've ever read.
First of all, anybody in 2019 wanting to drop nukes for anything, like, don't you understand? That's the end of the world, dude. Like, but yeah, tell them about the gun line, boss. Tell them, money.
So the president the president has all these staff meetings where they talk about all types of shit. And so this particular, this came up a couple of times, these big mega storms and these big hurricanes that develop, off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, and they come up through the Atlantic Ocean, up through the islands and all of that. So the president says, how do we prevent the storms from making it to the coastline of the United States? And my man says, oh, I got it. What if we drop nukes in them? And literally, this cabinet, like, nobody said shit. According to I wasn't there, but according to the report, everybody was so like, huh? Like, and then he the president, so you just can't be like, well, that's a stupid fucking idea. So like, everybody. So everybody
like they should have.
Yeah, like they should have. Yeah, like so
like real friends would.
Right.
So
like they would do the bubbles.
Everybody in there like flabbergasted, like wait, is he like he's serious? Like, and like I posted on Facebook, like he the commander in chief of the armed forces. So really, for real, if he be like drop a nuke, they gotta drop a fucking nuke. But like serious, that's how it works. So, man, I just this dude is dangerous, man. Like to seriously consider that as an idea, like to stop the hurricane, like forget all the other shit it's gonna do if you drop a fucking nuclear bomb in the ocean and it detonates, like I just don't understand. The dude's crazy. I'm almost at a loss for words because he is crazy. But yeah, and finally somebody said, Sir, we'll look into that and get back to you.
And I'm sure he said nobody knows more about storms than me. I'm sure he said that.
But if
nobody knows, fake news.
I joke about it. I joke about it with the bullshit, but y'all, that's probably the most dangerous shit I've ever heard in my years on this earth. To drop a nuclear bomb into the eye of a hurricane to prevent it from doing whatever it's going to do.
Yeah, and I mean, like most things that dude talks about, like it's kind of it's symbolic of everything he does. It's like because everything he does is for the right now. Like so. And in 6 months when we looking like Book of Eli around this motherfucker, he gonna be still talking. Well, at least I stopped the hurricane. Like everything's like for the short term. Like there's no long term vision with this dude. So yeah, man, I don't know.
I just Googled it, right? So because I hadn't heard anything about it, so I Googled it, and I'm actually on Washington Post, and this. Is like Trump denies that he even suggested it, right? So the two things that strike me is, one, you are such an idiot that the common person just automatically believes that our president probably said that. Like, like that's consistent with his level of intelligence. Right. And then the second thing that struck me is, like, you're such a liar that I don't even believe the denial.
Right.
The fact that you deny it, I'm like, so? Like, how is that even news? Who cares that he denied it? He doesn't tell the truth. How did this get on the damn website? But anyway.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So. I just wanted the one more point. So, okay, so let's say everyone says, okay, Mr. President, that's a great idea. Let's go ahead and launch it. So we just launch a random nuke into the middle of the ocean. How does all the other countries that have nukes know we didn't just launch a nuke at them and they try to nuke us back? Like I posted on Facebook, I can think of 5 scenarios that are disastrous in like 60 seconds.
Right.
And I'm not in the White House, but right. could you imagine China or Russia on the phone like, y'all just launch a nuke at us?
Right.
Like, and then we got to be like, no, we launching into the ocean. We trying to stop a hurricane.
And if we're able to explain that shit away, like, no, we're trying to get rid of this hurricane, dude. And they was like, oh, okay, no doubt.
Right.
Everybody,
that's the funniest part.
Right? Like, even if like,
oh, you trying to get rid of the hurricane? That's cool.
That's cool. But everybody
later.
knows. Like, my 9-year-old son knows that you don't clear up chaos with more chaos. Like, that's how tsunamis get started, is chaos in the like. I don't even get the rationale behind it. Like, you're not gonna. It's not a wall where you just break it down and it goes away. Like, it's a fucking hurricane, dude. Like, more chaos in a storm is gonna create a bigger storm. Like, it's.
So now you talked about the other countries. They gotta be looking at us like this dude has to be really unstable, because again, if I'm other countries and I'm like, yo, if this dude is willing to drop a nuclear bomb on a hurricane, like, what's to say he won't flip out because whatever reason, like he's like, it's another reason why this dude needs to go. But and it's really like he's on the best weed ever. Like, think about like the highest you've ever been, or the highest you've ever seen somebody. Like, that shit they talk about. Like, that shit you talk about when you're high. Like, you just high as fuck. You're like, yo, man, what they need to do with all these hurricanes is just drop a fucking bomb on them shits. Or
Jay, you gotta get the whole sound effect. That shit go.
Yeah, right. So
I got it.
Right, exactly.
What we gonna do is, we gonna fly over it, right? We gonna fly over it, and then what we gonna do is we gonna drop a nuke right into the eye.
Oh
yeah,
right, yeah.
That's gonna fuck them up.
Yeah. And then the whole
thing dissipates,
right? And then the other high ass dude in the room is like, man, fuck that. I want to buy Greenland. Like, he is a combination of the 3 highest dudes you ever met, all at once, right? At one time. Like, it's
the worst part is, after doing a little more research, he's not the first president that floated the idea.
Yeah,
no, he isn't. But those dudes floated the idea in the 1940s and 50s.
Right, that's what I was like.
When dropping atom bombs was cool and shit.
Yeah, right. It was the 50s. 100.
Oh man, that guy, bless his heart. Well,
bless his heart.
Yeah, if he has one. Oh man. Well, on a higher note, Coming to America 2 is currently being filmed. First off, Al, where does Coming to America rank in your all-time like comedy movies?
Ooh.
Like, now you don't have to give it like a specific like number. Is it way up there?
High up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a funny movie. You know, like, not only is it funny, but I also give a lot of credit for the many characters that Eddie Murphy plays in the movie.
Right.
So yeah, high up there.
Right. And Arsenio. Shout out to Arsenio.
Yeah.
For his characters. Yeah, man. So, Money.
Classic.
It's classic, right? West Coast classic.
Without question.
All right. So, I ask you this. It's been almost 30 years since Coming to America dropped. Coming to America 2 is currently being filmed in Atlanta. A large portion of it at Rick Ross's mansion. I'm kind of torn on this, man. Money. Is this shit gonna suck?
Man. Hey, man, I hope not, man. I hope they don't do us like they did us for Independence Day. It could go the way And if you like the new Independence Day, cool.
Shout out to all three of you.
Yeah, like I wasn't a humongous fan of it. It really like slapped the face of the first one, but it could be that bad, or it could finally be something that we've never seen before. We like sometimes sequels and remakes work.
It's hard,
but it's so hard, especially when that original is so embedded in our heart. I'll probably watch Coming to America 50 times.
Mm.
That movie has scenes that I will remember to the day I close my eyes. And it's such a timeless class. I mean, I could watch it like it came out yesterday and laugh at it like, so I don't know. Hopefully they do a really good job. If you watch this new Lion King, like it's just, it's just.
Okay, so I know we're talking about Coming to America too, but just quick yay or nay. Y'all like the Lion King?
I haven't seen the new one. I really like the first one.
Yeah, the original is the original. The stage show is amazing as well, if you've never seen it. But as for this new fake live action CGI thing, right? I kind of can't even bring myself to want to do that to myself.
Okay, so my son had a scrimmage in Charlotte. It was the invitational, so we went down. The game was on a Sunday, so we kind of made a weekend of it a couple weeks ago. And so we went to see Lion King on that Saturday. And so, like, the movie itself wasn't bad. Like, if I were a 12-year-old now and I didn't have the first one as a measuring stick, I would have loved it. But considering that, you did, they didn't really change anything, as far as the script, the plot, everything was the same. But you still had that first one, and of course, nostalgia plays a lot into that as well. But Beehive, y'all gonna kill me. So I made it. This might get me as many shots thrown my way as saying Nas is the most overrated MC ever. But Beehive, don't kill me. But me and my family have been having perpetual jokes about Beyonce's performance in Lion King because she sounds like a Houston hood booger. Yo, when I tell you, like, there are lines in Coming to America, in Lion King where Beyonce is really, she, regardless of how hard she tries, if she tries, she's never going to lose that accent. So it's disappointing, it's hilarious, it's all kind of things. It's every adjective I can think of rolled together in one. To hear Beyonce say, but Simba, what about your mother? Like,
but Simba.
Right.
Wow.
Wow. Like, I was really waiting for her to say, what Simba? Like, I came here.
Wow.
Somebody got to be the king of Pride Rock. Like, that's how she sounds. So, my kids were like,
now I want to watch it.
Right. Like, it's of course, the singing parts was great with her and Donald Glover, but so I digress. But I'm hoping that apparently the premise of Coming to America is Eddie Murphy, Akeem, comes back to America to find his long-lost son. So apparently one of those twins in the club he got busy with or something before he met. Before he married Lisa, and he was sowing his royal oats, and he made a son. All right, and that's what I'm taking from. That's probably what happened. But he's coming back to try to find his son, who I guess 20-ish, and is I guess stirring up trouble in the city. I can only imagine what that kid getting into when. But yeah. And I guess it's just a cast so far. Like, any movie with Lunel, I'm always kind of on the fence about. When you put a Lunel in a movie, it's just like you're trying too hard. It's one of those movies. I don't know, man.
Wesley Snipes, Rick Ross.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan, Leslie Jones.
That's in it.
Yeah, these
they
all
in
people. You're right.
Okay.
You know, like I'm looking at it like this, right? I don't think it's going to ever come close to the first one. However, it may turn into what the subsequent like Friday movies became, where they become their own special side, like a little bit of a cult classic.
Yeah, maybe. But
You know, it was next Friday, Friday after next. Like we was mad Smokey was gone, but they grew on us.
he did. And if anything, it'll give us another category for trivia. So
That much is very true. But yeah, Coming to America was one of the most quotable movies of all. At least once a day, somebody throws a Coming to America.
right.
At least once a day. Yeah. Don't be trying to pull that falling down the stairs shit on me.
Right.
Your rent still due.
Right. Or like how many? Yeah, you're right. Like how many times a day you go on social media and somebody's like, it is my birthday. Like, or you know,
or even a little bark like a dog.
Right? Yeah,
big dog.
Yeah. My son's coach said that the other day to a kid in practice. Bark like a dog. But yeah, it's references everywhere. And if you live in Money's house, you know, with all the shit he doing and saving hoes, I'm sure every 3 days it's the royal penis is clean, Your Highness. So no.
On heavy rotation.
Right. He got. Yeah.
I mean, so I'm expecting funny.
It should be. It's too many funny people.
It should be funny.
I'm hoping, like 20 something years later, that they also go a little deeper with sharing and showing Africa. Like it was just kind of cosmetic in the first movie, but you know, now 20 years later, you could go a little different in that, and you know, so I'm hoping.
Right.
You said filming in Atlanta?
A post Black Panther world. Yeah, they definitely could.
That's what I mean. Right.
I know what you mean.
Help this community connect with the continent a little better with
right.
that. As opposed to just wearing garb, as they did in Coming to America.
Right.
Greenery and like a elephant walking through or something.
That cast in the original Coming to America, star-studded. Man.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Samuel Jackson was just an extra.
Right. So was Cuba Gooding.
Yeah.
Right. And then here's the thing, like a lot of those characters, I mean, realistically can't be like all the dudes in the barbershop are gotta be dead by now.
Yeah, but they can always reprise younger ones.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So they have to be newer characters.
Still Eddie and Arsenio
right.
pretty much the whole time.
So I know
they could be somewhere else.
Right, and I know the preacher Arsenio's.
He's still alive.
Yes, he's still Arsenio's. I saw a picture of him in character as the preacher. So he's an old man now. So I guess some of it, right? Yeah, so they can kind of carry over some stuff. I mean, and then in real life, Matt Sinclair, John Amos are both passed away.
Yeah, they are.
So, I mean, of course, there are going to be some, they're going to have to like work around that. Lisa's still fine as hell, so that's good.
Still fine as hell,
right?
That is helpful.
Still fine as hell.
So, so we'll see. And then the dude they got playing Akeem's son, I like him. He's funny. He's on an HBO show I watch called Crashing. So.
Crashing's funny as shit.
Crashing's funny.
What's the dude's name?
Let me find the dude's name. I just know he's one of the comics, the black dude, the young black dude that hangs out with him. I don't know. Y'all keep talking, I'll find it.
So I did want to just real quick give a quick shout out to Coming to America. I think it spun off some inspiration for the video to remember the time Michael Jackson gave us that crazy ass remix,
right?
With Magic Johnson and all of them in the video, like just had like Coming to America that's Coming to America is culturally like relevant. It's culturally classic. So hopefully they understand that with this Coming to America too. Like it wasn't just the movie; it was all kinds of crazy for Coming to America.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man.
yeah. So the dude's name is Jermaine Fowler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's a comedian. So I like him. He's funny. Yeah, and I would think, again, giving Eddie the benefit of the doubt, that he understands how much the original means to a lot of people, and he'll respect it in that manner. So I hope so. And like a lot of dudes that come back and do something 20 years later, hopefully he ain't lost it. We'll see.
We will see.
So, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. Moving on to our listener questions. So again, kind of teased this earlier. So our very own Regular Scott has our first question. Shout out to the guys, to Regular Scott and Oz and West Coast Jay for stepping in this week for Oz while Oz was out getting his roll on in the empty swimming pool somewhere. But shout out to Take a Knee for Marvel and DC. You guys do an excellent job. But Scott wants to know, so I'll read his entire email because it's pretty fucking funny. He says, considering that we're doing the top 10 MCs of Defy Life, got me to thinking about some of my favorite MCs. Says, I consider Eminem to have one of, if not the greatest 3-album run of all time, with the Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show. I also think Kanye West might have the best first 3-album debut of any artist ever. So my question for you guys, who I think know way more about hip-hop than me, would be, who do y'all think has the greatest 3-album run and the greatest 3-album debut of all time? Keep up the great work, and it's a shame that no one could ever hear me crush everyone on trivia. Yes. That right. So, for those of you who don't know, we had some technical difficulties a couple weeks ago on our NFL preview show, and just put it out there. Scott finished butt naked last with a whopping 0 points in trivia.
He got murked.
Yeah, he got murked.
I wasn't even trying to embarrass him on his own show. I just kept telling him, like, I know what happened, bro. I was there. I know what happened.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Scott scored just as many points as the guy who wants to nuke the Hurricanes. He scored just as many trivia points as him. So, Al, you first. So, who do you think, to address the first question, Scott's, who you think had the best 3-album run of any MC in history, or any artist? I guess it can be group or MC.
So first, let me just say again, this speaks to just how different people's opinion is, right? Because one, I didn't even like the Eminem Show like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thought it was okay, but not to be considered in those other 2 albums. Like, I would have like, those were 2 dope albums, and that one was just okay.
Gotcha.
And then Kanye, just to go back with the question, I only really remember 2 Kanye albums that were like that was kind of dope. So it's just everybody has their opinion and shit. So it's kind of. So that being said, for me, like, let me go with the debut album first because that's kind of shorter. So the one who I thought had like just 3 dope debut albums, I'm just gonna throw like Nas up there because I love his first 3 albums.
Mm-hmm.
So Illmatic, It Was Written, and I Am, right? Just love all of those. And quality, high quality, dope, some of his best work. So that's why my answer for the debut joint. But then his first question in terms of the 3-album run, to me, it's like I looked at KRS as I was looking at his albums that he started his career with. And when I got up to 6, and like 6 albums that I would put up against anybody else's, all albums that he mentioned in his question, like all of Eminem's albums and all of Kanye's albums, I will put these 6 albums individually against any of them.
Right.
So, like, that being said, like, to me, my answer is KRS One, because not only does he have a 3-album stretch, dude has his first 6 albums are all dope. and it's his next album that I was looking at, the 7th album, which was the one with his like Step Into the World and I Am the MC. I Got Next is that album, and that was like 95. And I like this is a era. This is going from say 87 to 93, 94. These 6 albums that I'm talking about. Criminal Minded. By All Means Necessary, Ghetto Blueprint, Ghetto Music, The Blueprint of Hip Hop, Edutainment, Sex and Violence, and the last one is Return to the Boom Bap. That's my answer.
Yeah. Tough to argue.
It's tough to argue.
All right. So I'm going to leave it to you, Money. Argue with Al and tell him why he's wrong. First off, who's your 3-album debut? Who you think has the best 3-album debut?
Yo, this joint was tough. This joint was tough for me. And I'm a little newer school to the world of hip hop, but for me, man, I thought long and hard about a few guys. So I'm gonna throw out. Actually, nah, I'm solidified in this answer. So, the debut guy, and I love the Nas pick. I checked Nas out, went back and forth on Nas, but I ultimately went away with Nas for Big was dead, Pac was dead. And all that kept hearing me was this old lyric that was like back with my niggas, double law before X blew it up, before Eve was a star, and it just kept making me say X, X. So I'm gonna go the first three album run for debut artists. Boy, I gotta go X. It's dark and hell is hot.
Right.
Flesh of my flesh, blood on my blood, and then there was X. I mean, when on May 12th, when It's Dark and Hell is Hot dropped in 1999, man, we had already heard, the Rough Riders anthem and all of that. Like, that shit was crazy, and the industry was fiending for somebody to come out with something.
Right.
And boy, X came in, and then he also, people don't remember, but he also dropped Flesh of My Flesh the same year. Like, that came out in December. So DMX was actually, other than Tupac, DMX was actually the first artist to ever go release multi-platinum debut albums that was #1 in the same year.
Right.
Artists kind of do it now all the time in this digital age, which is why I guess we'll get to that. Like, I don't compare some of these digital artists to dudes that do 100 million streams, versus a guy selling versus his album going platinum 6 times, like these albums. Right. So I gotta go with X, man. Those 3 albums were crazy. They're all certified at least platinum 5 times over, and that was back when that shit wasn't happening. X, man, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, and then there was X, man. I gotta go with that for the debut.
All right. Yeah, another good one. What about your 3-album run?
My 3-album run, golly. It was hard for me not to. It's hard for me not to put Pac in this. It's hard for me to not put Pac in here for Me Against the World, All Eyes on Me, and Machiavelli. It's hard for me to not put Pac in there. But it was also really hard for me to keep Drake out for his crazy, insane 3-album run that you could even argue started with, Thank Me Later, and still going right now, or you can break that up in the pre-digital, like however you want to break it up. It's hard for me to leave Drake out,
Right.
For the stupid, absurd numbers that he's doing and he's been doing even before the digital switch. So, Pac and Drake, I'm gonna leave my answer there.
Yeah, absolutely. Shit. First of all, shout out to Regular Scott for making us think, because this shit made me think.
Yeah.
This shit put a lot of brain work into this. And shout out to y'all. Y'all giving some really good answers, man. West Coast, what say you, sir?
See, I was going to shout out Regular Scott for a good question because I didn't even have to think about it. Outkast wins for the best debut.
Okay.
Straight up, theirs never stopped.
Right.
They debuted and never made a bad album.
Right. Yeah.
From beginning to bitter end. From Southern Playalistic to ATLians to Equimini to Stankonia to Speaker Box and the Love Below.
Yeah.
And Idlewild.
And Idlewild, yeah.
I wasn't feeling Idlewild, but I ain't gonna disagree with you though.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't stop. They just kept making stuff.
Right.
And then they didn't make stuff no more.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, we get random big boy albums and random 3-stacks showing up on people's stuff.
Features, right? Yeah.
But Outkast that was the simplest answer for me. As soon as I read it all the way through, it was like, Cass, nobody slapped as hard as Cass from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like, as a pure run, yeah, they were the ones for me, like,
Right.
without question. And I was frustrated with the damn pick your top 20 because I feel like Outkast go in as a duo, but I had to separate them. That made me mad a little bit.
That was tough.
Mad a little bit.
That was tough.
When we do your GOAT groups, you'll be able to know when we do that survey.
I knew that was gonna make somebody mad.
It made me mad. It did.
Yeah.
Outkast.
Kind of
they
like
know Uno.
yeah,
We a
it's kinda
duo.
like, it's kind of like Len and Kim on trivia.
Yeah. They ain't no Uno. They a
Right.
duo.
So, are they your? Do they take both categories for you?
No. They
Okay.
do not take both categories for
Alright.
me.
Who
Although
led
they
the
easily
3-album
could,
run?
to be quite frank. Like, there's
Right.
a 6-album run, much like the KRS run that Al brought up. Like, they can easily take both categories. But in reality, the 3-album streak, Blueprint 2, and the Black Album. Jay-Z wins that for a 3-album streak.
That's
Gotcha.
tough. That's
Yeah.
tough right there.
All right.
Just playing those 3 albums gave us everything.
I examined that one for my answer too. It's a lot of 3-album runs. Like it's a lot of answers. I don't think that with respect to everybody's answers, I really don't think there was a wrong answer. I think that based on what your parameters are, because I thought long and hard about that run, West Coast, or you could have went the 2 albums after that. Like, hey, those are strong albums.
And you could do it again with American Gangster, The Blueprint 3, and Magna Carta, Holy Grail. You could do it again. Like, Jay did it a few times. He's. But the funny part is, if Money would have said Jay-Z, then I would have said Drake.
True that. And if you would have said Drake, I would have said Jigga. So,
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were, it's a common theme that generally, with the exception of House Haven, I agree with Money. we have a firm no saver.
He's serious about that. He don't do that.
Right.
No saver policy.
That's a Cali thing, man. It's a Cali
Okay,
thing.
like he afraid somebody gonna walk up on him on the street, like yo, did I hear you on the podcast?
Right.
Co-sign that shit.
I
Right.
explained that to people like,
you out there.
you was out there saving them? Got your cape on?
We condemn that shit, son.
Were you levitating a little bit? Flying over there, picking them up, saving them from burning milk? Is that what you're doing?
Oh man, yeah.
Getting them food and stuff?
Jay, what about you, man? This is we don't have pool, man. You got did you get a chance to
I
research
did.
this one?
I actually,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with Outkast is the best 3-album debut. To me, hands down. And they doubled up and went 6. There is no weak point in that entire catalog. So that Jay said everything I think about that. But my best 3-album run, which again turned into like 5, somebody a lot of people don't think about, but he's actually in my top 10. Heavy D.
Come on, brother.
Heavy D. So 87, he started out with Living Large. So, like, sales-wise, charts-wise, it didn't hit as hard as his subsequent albums, but that was a dope-ass album. Exactly.
It was dope.
But then, after he got a little more commercial success, he followed that up with Big Time, which was another dope album.
My wife even like that.
Right.
Was a dope album.
It went platinum, in 89 when a lot of dudes weren't going platinum at all. Then Peaceful Journey, another platinum album, which was a little more laid back.
That's the first rap album my parents ever let me listen to. Was Peaceful Journey.
Really?
That's how that album holds so much love in my heart, man.
I remember that album too.
That was quality. That was
Right.
quality.
So,
but that's he was into some R&B shit, so he was
Right.
pulling
Yeah.
the old group, the older market at that.
Exactly.
So I can
Right.
see that.
And then he followed that up with Blue Funk, which went gold. Another dope album, but my favorite Hev album of all time. To round up this, well, it was because he was really 6. But the 5th one, Nothing But Love, is my favorite album of all time. Like, and,
Shout out to Head.
Yeah.
Shout out to Head.
That's actually one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, overall, that's my favorite album of all time. Not just the music, not just because it's Hev, but again, like Al mentioned, the time of my life that it dropped. First time I was, first summer that I had my own car, had my own job, my own money, so I had a lot of freedom that I didn't have to listen to the music I wanted to. So that just when it represents for me. But Hev is one of the dopest MCs, and I'm sure we'll touch on this next week. But Hev to me is easily in my top 10, probably the most underrated MC ever, and I give him credit for making 9 albums and never ever cursing on any of his. That shit is hard to do. Outside of a damn every now and then, never was vulgar. That's hard. That's like I equate that shit. Like when my job, our parking lot, we have some parking lots have speed limits in the parking lot, and stop signs. It's hard as fuck to go 10 miles an hour. You get what I'm saying? Like that shit is hard. So I equate that to the same. Like it's hard to not curse if you're a rapper for 9 straight albums, because a lot of times it's harder to restrain yourself and not take the easy way out that everyone else is doing. So kudos to
But
Hev, man.
that's who he was,
That's
It's
who
Right.
it was,
Yeah.
from the beginning, he understood himself as an artist of one who wanted to be clean.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was important to him.
Yeah, and to appeal to ladies, which was Hev was the first big dude to appeal to women. Like Biggie got a lot of his blueprint from Heavy.
True that.
That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
so but yeah, so that
He
that
definitely
stretches.
brought that
Jay,
Right. Yeah.
Jay, one of the most underrated songs of all time, probably still one of my most favorite songs to this day. I do believe was off that album, but it's the remix to this song called
Yes.
Thinking You Want Me.
Got me waiting.
That got me wait. Oh,
Yes.
that shit is bananas.
I listened to that shit yesterday. Yo, that is just fucking yeah.
Yo,
and
that
that
was-
Luther
yo,
sample.
What?
Man.
What? Hey,
Yeah.
come on, man. Yeah, we got that synergy going right now.
I didn't know y'all was feeling heavy like that.
Man,
What,
Hev is
dude?
my guy.
Man.
Yo.
Man, come on, man.
Yeah. Like, and like, just, you know how it's certain, and again, I'm sure we'll dig deeper into this next week, but it's certain dudes you mention in your top 5 or your top 10 that people argue about or people become polarized about. Hev is one of those names you, like, when I say Hev's in my top 10.
Yeah, I can see people arguing with you on that.
Like,
I can't.
Yeah, nobody argues, though.
I mean, I can see some people arguing, not that they got a beef with Hev, because I think most people love Hev. But then, like, when you talk about somebody's going to get bumped for Hev, like, that's where the argument. I can see some of my. So, who you bumping though?
Right,
who you
but the argument never comes from, like, when you throw, like, you know, just throwing out a name. If somebody were to put Rakim in their top 10, there'll be some new heads that'll be like, man, fuck that old nigga. Or, you know, some old school heads will be like, yeah, but he didn't last long enough. Like, nobody ever can, like, that's the only argument against Hev is how it affects everybody else. It's never a direct argument. Right. And so just the respect that Hev garners throughout hip hop from all age groups, like, nobody can shoot holes in his game. It's so hard to do. But yeah, we'll dig a lot deeper into that next week. But yeah, easily for me. And of course, I'm a bit biased because Hev's my guy. But yeah, that 6-album run from Hev is highly impressive.
Yeah, so I was on the radio playing his music. Like, now like the songs y'all talking about, like, they were heavy rotation on my show. I loved Hev, one of my favorite MCs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, kudos again, Regular Scott, as his money would say, regular degular. I gotta disagree with you though, Scott. Like, with again, Eminem's one of my guys, but the Eminem show was just alright for me.
Okay, I thought it was just me. I'm just saying.
Slim Shady LP is one of the dopest albums ever. Marshall Mathers LP, yes. Marshall Mathers LP was even doper to me. But I can't really get with the Eminem show like that. It's okay. And Kanye, like, of course, College Dropout, Late Registration, definitely classics for me. But the third one was a Late Orchestration. Yeah, it was kind of
Graduation or some shit.
Yeah, it was Graduation. And that one had his hottest hits.
Yeah,
like I was with.
Yeah. I'm kind of with that.
I was with Regular on that.
Because I thought his third one was Graduation, and Graduation went hard as hell.
Yeah, all three of those went hard.
What were the first two though?
College Dropout, which is a cult classic. That shit got us through college.
College Dropout, Late Registration,
and then
Graduation.
Yeah. I think it was Graduation
that shit was stupid.
That I might have slept on.
You probably slept on. I could see what Regular Scott was saying, and maybe with the M thing he was looking at, like, because the Eminem show might be one of the greatest selling albums of all. I think that shit sold like 20 million copies.
And
so maybe he was talking about album sales or whatever. I have it very, very high ranked on my album list too. I actually thought it was a flawless album, which is not something that I give out a lot.
Graduation.
The Eminem show.
Oh, Eminem show. Yeah, it was
that. That shit was blaze.
What was that? I think for me, why Eminem show doesn't rank as high as the first two, I think that's when M started to lose a lot of his grittiness. He was too polished at that point for me. I ain't gonna say it wasn't whack by any means. But he was so polished that it took away a lot of the. Because you know how, like, some MCs you get on before a lot of people know about them, and they kind of become like your thing because don't nobody else know about them. And then
that was me and Eminem for real.
Right,
I messed with Eminem on the Wake Up Show with the freestyles.
Right. Yeah. So that's how I was with M. That's how I was with the Locks. So then when they become so polished,
I felt like that about the Locks too.
Right.
Jay.
And so it's kind of like I always say, like the NFL draft. Like when the NFL draft was like this kind of niche thing and only draft nerds were into it, it was so much fun to dig into it.
Right.
But now that, you know, the draft got shiny suits and go to Nashville every fucking, like, it's like different. So
I think
that's
part
how
of
I
it
felt
is
about
those
that
MCs, they try to appeal to everybody. Like they're becoming so popular, so now they making music trying to appeal to people.
Right.
And I think that's the loss of the grittiness that you're talking about. It's like you don't see the same focus or the authenticity. And I look at a few artists who that second, third, fourth album, as they get more popular, that happens. But like I'm looking at Graduation, the track list, and I definitely wasn't feeling
Graduation slapped.
Congratulations.
I didn't hear it like that. And
Yeah.
the Eminem show, same thing. I didn't hear it like that either. But I love hip hop, and I love that we love different parts of it. Like that, that's dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to on that 3 album run, man. Shout out to Wayne on that joint too.
I was thinking that too. Absolutely.
Shout out to Wayne. I can't at least not reference Wayne in this conversation.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of it's like a 3 album run is difficult to do, but the great ones do it. Like Wayne, Cole, like it's
shout out to Big Cole.
The Roots. The Roots had a good 3 album run.
Yeah, they really did. Oh my God, they did.
So
Busta.
And that ain't easy to do.
Shout out to Busta right there.
3 album run ain't easy to do.
Nah, absolutely not. So
Missy Elliott, yeah. Oh, so debut 3 album run. She could go in both.
Missy could be on that list. She could.
Yeah, LL could be on that list.
Yeah.
It's some dudes, and it's crazy because, like, people always say it, but I mean, no control of his own, which to me speaks of his greatness that he's even included in that conversation. But think about how fucking impressive Biggie is. He only had two albums out while he was alive. Like to be in that conversation, like that's some, like to me that's like as impressive as like Gale Sayers being mentioned amongst the greatest running backs of all time. You only played 7 years. Like that shit is impressive as fuck. So
Barry Sandersy, right?
Right, like Barry.
Some people you can see greatness, and like Biggie is one of them dudes.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm ready. I'm already looking forward to next week because
I want to see the list now.
Right.
The artistry, man. That's why it's so tough for me to get into these new artists because the things that we're talking about the artistry of hip hop, they don't have it. They don't have it.
No, and some of them do. Some of them do. We just can't. We can't sleep on everybody.
Right. True indeed. There are some artists out there. I think, but because it's become more of a commercial industry. You're getting like rappers. You're not getting MCs. You get a lot of rappers out there just want to be professional, want to make money at it. And
exactly. I mean, they figured out how to make. I mean, we're also in the digital era, so everything can happen and be uploaded so quickly. Like I'm certain we get so many rough drafts that people just put out there just so they have content out,
and the shit hits.
Here's what I'm saying, West Coast. Nowadays, you have to go fishing for good rappers.
That's fair.
Back in the era that we're talking about, we had to go fishing for the bad rappers.
Yeah, we were inundated with good music.
Right.
That's what I said. All
these people could spit, male, female, label to label. You can even go to 8 Ball and MJG, UGK. Those dudes could spit. Like the 5, 6, 7 artists deep on the label, and they all could bring it. They all could bring it.
Yeah, and like one thing I was talking about on the interview with Jazzo is he's kind of said the same thing. He was like, don't get it twisted. We had whack rappers in our day too. But the difference is the whack rappers weren't being pushed to the forefront. And so, like Money said, you kind of had to search to find somebody that was just stupid whack. Right. And you can point them out. Like we can have conversations about the whack dudes. Now, you can pinpoint on one hand the dudes that are just fucking dope.
Yeah, that's true.
And
but I think a lot
MCs wouldn't last.
Right, and I think a lot of
have a song, but they wouldn't have careers.
Right, and which also speaks to the lack of artist development now. Like there's no need for artist development anymore because labels don't have to develop artists. All the artists they can do it themselves, and
They figured out how to monetize themselves using just internet.
And so by the time the label gets there, it's really just about, maximizing that versus developing the artist.
How many followers you got? By the time you get to the label, it's how many followers you got. My guy at
how many streams?
Sony Records, he'll tell any artist, he'll tell you that. Like it's changed so much. The labels want you to already come now with 1 million followers.
Exactly.
If you don't have 1 million followers with 1 million streams, that's how you get on now. You can go and spit the illest shit anybody ever heard, and the labels will look at you like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Right.
But if you come in there spitting 1, 2, 3, 4, I stubbed my toe, but you got 1 million followers,
right?
Said, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Son, you don't know nothing about that Dr. Seuss flow.
So that's why I prefer searching for dope MCs.
Right.
This way I don't have to even waste my time with other people's feeding me bullshit.
Right.
I just look for dope MCs, and when I find them, I stay with them and I keep listening.
Right.
Keep looking for other ones.
Yeah. All right.
The radio bullshit.
Oh yeah.
With regard to dope MCs, the one person that I really contemplated adding to the list last week when I was putting the 20 together was Tech 9.
Yeah, Tech 9 is dope. Yeah, so
honorable
who was
mention to Tech 9? He was number 21 for me without question.
That's what I was. So Al, who was your number 21? Or even just an honorable mention, like somebody you wish you could have put on the list that you couldn't.
Joel Ortiz.
Joel is nice.
Sean Price.
Nice. Okay.
It's a few.
Yeah.
And what's so ill is, if we were to do a favorite list, my favorite list would not look like
absolutely.
Right. Gave us criteria.
Right.
Criteria.
Right.
We did the math.
All right. Money, who's on your honorable mentions list?
Oh man, I can't. I think I put 4 dudes up there, didn't I, Al? I was like, Al, I don't have enough slots. But I think I threw LL into 21, 22. Maybe I might have, because I think I added Busta Rhymes in there, but maybe it was somebody that was just real hedge, and I was like, God, I gotta get this guy in here some type of way, or it might have been somebody like that, because I definitely put Missy in my top 20, so it was somewhere where I was trying to find slots for people that I thought deserved to be in there.
All right. Yeah, it was a couple names that I was just like, man, I wish. It was a couple names that I thought about just submitting to add to the big list, but I was like, I can't. Saha the Prince, I wanted to put in the top 20. Yeah.
And honestly, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying, being on the list,
right? Yeah,
amazing accomplishment. That just says something just to be on the list. So yeah,
right.
Saha.
Yeah,
he should be on the list.
Yeah, Saha, Keith Murray.
Pharoah Monch for me.
Pharoah Monch, yeah. It's just a few dudes. Eric Sermon. Was Eric Sermon on the big list?
Yeah,
he was on the big list.
Was he on the big list?
He was on the big list. Yeah, he was on the big list.
Pharoah was on the list. Keith was on the list.
Yeah, they were on the list. I'm talking about.
Shit! I think I put 8 Ball and MJG on the list then.
That makes sense.
But it was
Ball and G should have been on the list.
Yeah, I mean, it was, if you're a big Gip, I wanted to put on the list.
Yeah.
But it was, it's just difficult, man. That's why I didn't even suggest adding any more to the list, because it was just going to make shit more difficult for me. Like I said, I walk around with my top 10 in my head, so I know that. So when I got to 17, I wanted to throw my fucking phone at the wall. I was cussing you out, Al. I was like, why you even do this shit? You know this shit gonna be
because usually I only do it. I've done this several times, and usually it's the top 10. This is the first time I extended it to the top 20, because I was like, what this is going to allow is for some real scrutiny of
real diversity, right? Actual diversity.
Yeah. And what it did, opening it up to 20, is it made me question the top 10 I already had.
Yeah. It did.
Yeah, right. So I was
I
like,
actually ended up changing mine.
yeah,
True indeed. Me too. Me
right.
too.
So I was really, I got to like my top, I got to the 10 that I normally have in my head, and I got to more, and I was like, damn, have I been shortchanging myself or shortchanging any of these artists because I've been stuck with this top 10 for a minute. So yeah, this shit was beautiful. I can't wait the next week to talk about this shit. But yeah, man. But again, anytime we can go for 45 minutes and talk about your question, shout out to you, Regular Scott. Damn good question.
Damn good question.
Good job, Scott.
I know who didn't make my list.
Ooh.
Fucking Joe Budden.
Oh fuck no. God.
And I love that song "Pray for Me." I think that's one of the illest songs I've ever heard. But like, I couldn't.
No.
Yeah,
no way.
I ain't a Joe Budden hater. I think he's
Joe's
okay.
nice. Yeah, Joe's nice.
Joe's a spinner.
Yeah, Joe's
He's nice.
Absolutely. But I mean, he
Just ain't number 3.
He ain't in that conversation, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Our second question comes from Tori in Hackensack, New Jersey. Shout out to Hackensack.
Shout out to Hackensack. Been a lot of time in Hackensack growing
All
up.
right. Tori wants to know, and it's Tori with an I. I don't know any dudes Tori with an I, so I'm assuming it's Tori. Is another female reader or listener. So shout out to you, Tori. We always like to get questions from the ladies. Tori wants to know, West Coast J, you first. What's the best life change you ever made as an adult? Yeah, that's a question that's got to come from a woman. Ain't no dudes thinking like that. West Coast, what's the best life change you've ever made as an adult?
Man, so I've literally been thinking about this for hours. Because I don't know that I make good decisions as an adult. Just being honest.
Right.
You do. You're in the Defy Life family, apparently.
I was going to say, other than, this, that's going to be the closest that I have to a good decision.
And I asked him for so long, like, man, come join us. And he finally did it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I do. This might actually count as the best life change I've ever made as an adult. This might for real be it. Like, when all is said and done and I get to the end till the lights go out, this might for real be the actual answer. So I'm sitting there talking about, like, maybe it was when I, tried to get back in the gym. Nah, that stopped. Maybe it was when I started drinking more water. No, I only do that when I'm standing in front of a water fountain. Like, maybe it was moving across the country. No, I done did that way too many times. Like, I think that's for real the answer for me. Wow. Joining the Defy Life family.
We'll take that.
Best life change I've made as an adult. Because I'm saying, like, the first few shows when we had guests, people had me questioning my own life decisions. Then, like, I was sitting there like, man, maybe I do need to reevaluate myself. Had me actually literally thinking like an adult for the first time, as opposed to just thinking like somebody who is. Now, my grandpa gave me great advice. I will give him this. As an adult, right before my grandpa passed, he in one of his last lucid moments, all he said to me was, "Just make sure you enjoy every moment."
That's heavy.
And he died at 91, so I'll take that from a 91-year-old man. Like, that's the last thing you got for me? Perfect. So I do try and make it a point to do that, but in general, all that means is I stay alive. I mean, I drink.
Right.
I smoke too much, stuff like that. That's those enjoyments, but actual decisions? No, actually, this is probably it. It's when y'all picked me up on whatever stop I was at and said, get on the train, and I said, all right.
I'm glad we picked you up then.
Damn right.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right. Money, what say you? What's the best life change you've made as an adult?
Man, I'm going to have to say, man, back, when I was still in Colombia. I was living in Colombia. I was working at Time Warner Cable.
Yeah, I remember that.
And my life is just in this stagnant place, and I just kept I kept looking at my life and what I was doing and what I was making, and Time Warner was about to make a bunch of network operations changes, and I just kept saying, man, I'm too smart, I'm too valuable to, I always felt like I was worth more, felt like I was more valuable. So I picked up the phone. I was in a whole relationship and everything, but then I picked up the phone. I called my parents and said, hey, I think I want to move home. Wow. And they were like, wait, what? And I was like, I think I want to come back to Charlotte, and just like that. And so talked to both my parents, and kind of we talked through a couple scenarios, and I was like, I think I'm about to start looking for a job back home, and so I got my resume together and took a bunch of interviews, and I ended up getting like 3 or 4 jobs, and
at one time.
Yeah. I had to actually decide which job I was going to take.
Oh, I thought you meant you took them. I was like, damn, I'm in Jamaica.
Oh, no.
Oh
And so I get this call from this software company, and they're like, hey, we saw your resume. I don't even remember applying for a job to this company. But they were like, yeah, we got these positions, open as a technical analyst. I've never been a technical analyst before. I'm from a networking background, so I was like, I'll come and see what's going on. But the changes Time Warner was making was going to move me out of network operations into like some other stuff that I didn't want to do, and I didn't want to lose my technical background. So I come up here, I go on these interviews, and I get offered like 4 jobs. In fact, LPL Financial tried to hire me on the spot, and I was like, I got a couple other things going on. Let me just weigh my options. So, moving to Charlotte, man, and so fast forward that, I get hired for this little. I think they hired 3 people to this technical analyst role, and I want to say 200 plus people interviewed, and so boom, I get this job with a software company, and fast forward that, I've been promoted 4 times now. Now I'm looking to become a software consultant. I'm a senior administrator on my team, so that kind of makes me one of the youngest kind of black junior, leadership executive type roles in my software space in the country. So, it's been the opportunities afforded to me, and I've never made this much money. I'm looking to always do more, so hopefully, I can move on from my current role and because I'm really looking to become like a software consultant type deal going on, and over the next few months, and do some more traveling. I've been all over the country with my current company, so I'm having a lot of fun. I don't eat processed foods now unless I want to.
Right.
So every now and then I get the craving for a chicken nugget, but those days are over. Like when I move, I movers move me. It's a different life, man, and I'm very, very blessed. So that's probably the best life-changing decision that I've made, is to try to advance my career and not let anyone shortchange me.
Right. Okay. Dope. Al, what's your and Money, you said something I want to come back to after Al speaks. So Al, what's the best life change you've made as an adult?
So this was a great question.
Right.
And part of it is because at my point, I've been an adult a lot longer than I haven't been an adult. So I have a lot of years and choices to review, right? I mean, you go from some of the good things I've done, like I've stayed in Atlanta. I thought that was a great decision. Getting married, having a family, shit like starting to wear a seatbelt. Like, and I say that because like for years, and like as they are doing the click it and ticket, for years I was this dude I don't need to wear no damn seatbelt. Like, nah, fuck that. Like, because I was raised driving without one. And so as society is making that switch, for years I was bucking and I'm riding with my homeboys and they clicking and I'm like, man, fuck y'all. And they were like, you crazy, right? But anyway, like, so I think that's, like, looking back, that was a pretty good decision. Reducing my distracted driving, which I'll see from last show I'm working on, but I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying to be more legal. I've made decision to be more honest, more timely, be an entrepreneur, write a book. Like, I started to like white MCs. Like, shout out the Marshall Mathers album. Like, that was a life decision I made at one point to be like, yo, this dude is dope. Like, rethink, like, all of how you've been looking at hip hop. You got to rethink that. So that was a life decision I made. So just, I've had a lot of good calls, but so I got a funny answer and a serious answer, like money and West Coast answer. Like, I was like, damn, maybe I need to think about a serious answer because these motherfuckers kind of came serious with the response. So my funny answer is, like, at some point in my life, I really made a conscious choice to not be nice, like not try to be nice. And it was a point in my life where I felt a little self-conscious because, like, you know, a couple of people called me an asshole. And I was like, me? An asshole? Like, when did that start happening? Like, nah, I thought I was a nice guy. And they were like, nah, motherfucker, you an asshole, obnoxious asshole. And I was like, okay, I got to recheck myself because that's not who I want to. I felt a certain kind of way. And I was like, let me try to change. And I even asked a colleague at work to be my nice coach. And, you know, he would give me some tips. And when he sees me drifting to the asshole ways, he would say, you could have handled it this way. And I probably did about 6 weeks of trying to be nice. And then said, fuck that. This shit is too hard. It's not who I am. Catch feelings if you want to catch feelings. I ain't got time for that shit. And stop being nice. And I really think why I think that's a good life decision, not so I could be an asshole to people, but I think it really was a point in my life where I felt comfortable in my own skin.
Right.
And I understand now what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, but I'm not living to be someone else. Like, I'm done with that shit, right? But for real talk, like, I think one of my best, probably the best decision I've made, at least professionally, was changing my brand. And, like, I think as a professional, up until probably my mid-30s, most people knew me as, at least professionally, as a data.
As a what?
A data dude.
Oh, okay.
Like, I tracked outcomes for nonprofits, universities. I helped them document their success through data, making data-informed decisions. That was my brand. But I got tired of fucking with numbers and flipped the switch and helped people see me more as a connector, as a networker, as a servant leader, professional, community development type guy who knows a lot of people. And I think that's who I wanted to be, and started really, just like companies change brands, really started to change how people discussed me, and even putting information out there. So that it took about a decade, though. Like, it took a minute for that shift to occur in this industry, in this sector down here. But it has got me to be in a position at a school district to where this is what I want to do, working on grants and partnerships with school districts. And
Nice.
like 10, 15 years ago, like as a data guy, like I would have never qualified for a position like that. But so much of that had to do with me intentionally saying, yo, I don't want to do this no more. And I need to change my brand and start developing myself differently so that I could qualify for shit. So I think that's one of my best decisions professionally, just changing my brand.
Cool.
And getting on this Defy Life, because I agree with the fellas. This has been like one of my better decisions as well, which is why I still fucks with y'all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dope ass question and dope ass answers. Like, I love when people give us like insightful questions like this, because it allows us to not be meatheads for a minute and let y'all know that we real people, and you know we like to be insightful as well. But yeah, I definitely echo y'all sentiments on everything Defy Life. Starting this thing we call Defy Life has been like monumental. Even in, like, we say this all the time, is it started off as just this show. You know, it was just a website and this show, and the show was like the highlight of our week. We would say that shit all the time. Like, we look forward to this. Like, you know, it started off Sunday mornings, how we do this, and and
for like 2 weeks.
For like 2 weeks, and we realized, hey, it's football season coming up. We can't do this shit. So ever since then, it's been Tuesdays, and it just worked, and it's been a highlight. Like, even like just the roots of this thing is this show has just been a highlight of every week for me, and just to see how much it's grown, and to see like the the first time I saw just somebody that I didn't know rocking a Defy Life shirt, like, was dope as fuck to me. Just like somebody that just went and copped one, and it was like, yo, who the fuck are you? But that kind of shit. Or to see Puffy side eyeing Smokey Robinson, because I'm just kidding. So this whole Defy Life thing has just been monumental, and I think everybody has to have a thing in life, and this has become our thing, and so me personally, this has become my thing. So, and just to see how people gravitate towards it, so it's dope. Most of all, for me, I think my best decision as an adult, life-changing decision, was deciding to become a father. And I say deciding, and I mean that two ways. One is like taking the action of the day-to-day of being a father is so rewarding. But actually, in that moment, deciding to become a father. Al, you know me since I've known myself. So you know that in my younger years, I was like, I don't want kids. I don't want to get married. I don't want none of that shit. So deciding to become a father when, meeting my now wife, who already had a child. So first deciding to become a father to a son who wasn't mine, and now is all mine. And two, before we even got to that moment, finding out that she was pregnant with Lincoln, and still stuck in my selfish ways of saying, I don't want to have it. And actually coming to the night before of her coming to me and saying, look, if you don't want to have this baby, I can't be with you. And so actually deciding in that moment that, I don't, let's just do this. And so, I still look at Lincoln a few times a week. Like, I can't believe I was thinking about making that decision. So actually making that decision to become a father, like, that's, so in both of those instances has been monumental for me.
And special shout out to you and every other father out there who willingly and lovingly accepts another man's child as their own and raises them as their own. To me, like, that is just some of the dopest shit that happens in our world. I just have so much respect for men who do that. So shout out to you and every other brother who's doing that, and females too. I just think as a parent, that's what we should be doing. These kids need to be raised.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. And and now, of course, it doesn't cross my mind. Even though he's. Daniel's 12 now, so we've had that conversation with him. He's known and met his birth father, but like that's not even something I even think about. And so it's just become ingrained in my life. But yeah, you're definitely right, Alice. At first. It's difficult, especially like when you're younger and your career is younger and money's tight and, looking at this dude who don't even call on birthdays. And you're like, I'm waking up every morning eating cereal with your kid and you bitching at me because I'm like, why don't you call this kid for his birthday? Like that kind of shit. But now it doesn't really come into the day to day. But like at first it was hard. Like, that's a big adjustment. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Shout out to any man who's willing to raise another man's kid. That's huge. Money, you said something. Al, Money, you mentioned, in your answer, I'm making the most money I ever made in my life, and so like when you said that, Al, I don't know if you remember when we had this conversation. I don't even know if it was a listener question. I don't know how it came up, but Keon was still on. And Keon had mentioned, I'm making the most money I ever made in my life and I'm fucking miserable. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I remember that conversation.
Right. I don't even know what we were talking about in what context, but I remember him saying that. And but it stuck with me. And so to hear Money say that and in a different context and to have a positive spin on it is dope to me, because I think that connotation of, you have to be like grinding and hustling and, and dredging like yourself in misery to make money. Like,
nah, not at all.
Right.
Not at all, man. Not at all.
Not if you're lucky. And I'll say this, because
right.
I think I look at myself as blessed. And because I know people who, one, aren't making the most money they've ever made in their life, or aren't in a position where they enjoy their daily work.
Right.
So I get that, because I know what it's like to be in that space. I'm not in that space now, but I get it. And so I don't take it for granted. And
right.
No.
I know you don't have to suffer to make money.
Right. And I think that's a huge misconception, especially in our community. And I say our community as in black entrepreneurs, who think that, oh man, in order for me to be successful, I can't sleep. I gotta hustle and grind like all day. I gotta put in this pain and no pain, no gain. Like I gotta suffer in order to be successful. Like that shit is not true. And especially when you look at, extremely successful people, those people get rest. They go to bed early. They wake up early, but they go to bed early. They take time for themselves. So that's a huge misconception to me, that you have to be miserable in order to make money, or, that if you're making the most money you ever made in your life, it has to come with a sacrifice. And so, Money, you said that, it just jumped out to me. And, I feel like blessed, like every day, to go to a gig that like I love the people I work with. I love the culture. What I do challenges me, stimulates me mentally, because I need that on a day to day. And it pays me well. Again, I'm making the most money I ever made in my life, but I don't know. So when you just said that, it just stuck out to me, and again, it brought me back to what Keon said. And Keon, I don't even know if you'll hear this, but I'm hoping you're in a better situation, like surrounding that now. So just a shout out to,
and some of that is culturally, and some of that's culture, and some of that's generational. You know, like our parents would tell us like that, the sentiments that you just said. Our parents would tell us those things. Like, hey, you got to be out here. You know, there will be days where I wouldn't see my father for 4 or 5 days at a time because he was out working, like literally. Mm-hmm. And you know, so you know, he missed basketball games, football, like whatever. But he was his justification was, shit, I'm out trying to keep the lights on. I'm out trying to give you a good life. And so this generation, especially the you know, one of the things we talk about is, you know, we just have to be cognizant of, you know, for instance, giving people the ability to work from home is no longer a perk. It's the expectation. Mm-hmm. You know, like this generation is so conscientious of work-life balance that they expect you to provide them a catered meal, and they expect you to give them a day a week or whatever that they can work from home optionally or work from home for, like, this is back, you know, but back 10 years ago, these things were unheard of.
Right.
Like,
and if you found that spot, you was like, man, you'll never guess what the fuck we get to do. On Fridays we get to work from home. Like, that's it. People be like, what? Really? Like,
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of that, and so you've got to be able to, you know, offer those type of benefits to this generation. But it's just something that I've actually learned, because I'm not in this newest generation, but I'm the generation before it. But I've taken a lot that I've learned from this generation and said, I can fuck with that. Like I like that. You know, so it's just one of those things that they kind of gravitate and levitate to, that I also find the benefit in. So, you know, of course, being an entrepreneur with Defy Life, you know, we are always grinding, and so we do, you know, try to find balance with that and work and family and all that type of stuff. And so it's new, and there are challenges there, but I think we do it well. And you know, whenever we need a reminder, we give it to ourselves. You know? So,
and we even, you know, a lot of companies in year 2 aren't afforded to be able to do this. We gave ourselves a cookout and a celebration, and some of us decided to show up. But I digress.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
Big salad.
Salad fronting ass. Oh man.
Shots fired.
Well, yeah. Tori, damn good question. Shit, regular Scott and Tori, y'all took us like an hour in. Appreciate that. Y'all definitely keep hitting us up with these questions. We appreciate it. If you want to have anything answered on the show, you want to get something off your chest, or if you just disagree with something we say, hit us up. You can email us at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up on social media at GoDefyLife. So we are going to take a commercial break really quick, and we'll be right back and talk some NFL. This is episode 122 of the Defy Life podcast. We'll be right back with you.
Are you starving for comics? Do you covet the classics or the newest copies of our favorite comics? Ooh, that All-Star Superman, Watchmen, and Remember the Sandman? Heroes and Dragons can remedy that. They've been around for more than 30 years with the homegrown family atmosphere. Who's doing it like that? Marvel, DC, collectibles, toys, it doesn't matter. They have what you want. Go see them. Ask for York. Heroes and Dragons, located at 1807 Bush River Road, Columbia, South Carolina. Tell them Defy Life sent you.
Welcome back to the Defy Life podcast. Again, this is episode 122. This is J.R. Glymph. With me are Alvin Glymph, Gerald Hedrick, West Coast J. Guys, as West Coast mentioned on Take a Knee this week, we have been kind of football heavy because it is that time of year. And so, yes, we are going to jump into some NFL talk. Big news this week, probably the most shocking news we've heard since Calvin Johnson retired, maybe. Andrew Luck, right in the middle of his prime, 29 years old, decided to hang it up. Just basically he's in too much pain, started going through rehab. As he described it, the pain rehab, what did he say? Injury pain rehab.
Yep.
Yeah.
Injury pain rehab cycle.
Right. That's a heck of a cycle to be in. A lot of athletes endure that. I thought it was freeing. You could tell it was freeing for him and empowering for him to be able to make that decision and live his truth and be honest with himself. So that was dope for me. I've always had an appreciation for athletes who don't need the game, who can step away when they feel they need to. And, you know, I've always had an appreciation for that. So, I don't know, Al, first for you, first of all, who the fuck ever would have thought that RG3 would be in the NFL longer than Andrew Luck? Like, nobody ever would have thought. Right.
I would have lost that.
But yeah, but seriously, like, so what were your, like, if you had to encapsulate Andrew Luck's career in one phrase or one word, what would it be?
Phrase, not pretty good replacement. And what I mean by that is he stepped in the shoes of Peyton Manning. And I thought he was a pretty good next quarterback after Peyton Manning.
Right.
Kind of like Steve Young was after Joe Montana. And, you know, for a franchise to have, 25 years of real good quarterbacking in those two quarterbacks, that's pretty fortunate. Yeah. At least from my vantage point as a Jets fan.
Yeah, but they still only got one more ring than y'all in that time frame. Though.
Yeah, that's true. But you only have a shot at it,
right?
If you have one of those.
That is true.
You know, most times, and so that's how I would capsule. You know, I think he was he had some good years, really, really good years, where he was one of the best quarterbacks in the game. When he was younger, he was one of the best young quarterbacks in the game, you know, so right. I have a lot of respect for what he accomplished, and I was definitely shocked when I saw the news go across the screen, and was also shocked when the day later when I heard the boos.
Right.
Like, wait, they booed him? Like, hold on. Get the fuck out of here. And I'm a booer. I'm from New York. We boo. I ain't mad at booing. Like, right. If you suck, I boo you. But your franchise quarterback, like, retires because of injury and you boo him, like, that's just... I understand the like, in the moment, it's hard to say how anyone reacts. And I can imagine, like, in the moment, like, you hearing that crazy news, but I just, like, booing, I just think that shit is bad.
Yeah.
And so I can't rock with that. And I just looked at that city real different. Like, that's some Philadelphia shit. Like, that's the type they the people who booed Santa Claus, right? So right. That's the type of behavior I expect from somebody, an Eagles fan. But, like, Colts? And yeah, for all the Eagle fan listeners, that was a shot at y'all. It's NFL season. Don't get your pennies up. I'm throwing shots. It's NFL season. Get used to it. So, so I was kind of shocked, and honestly, I expected better from the Colts fans. That's where I'm at.
Nice, yeah. West Coast. So, 2-3 years from now, Andrew Luck obviously is feeling better. You think there's a chance that he comes back?
Nope.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
So we're currently in a climate where people are realizing that taking care of their body is where they want to be. A couple years back, the Niners had Patrick Willis retire.
Mhm.
And the kid that stepped in for him, Chris Borland, had a great season. Rookie, 22 years old. Then he just retired.
I remember that.
So I'm kind of used to the shock of, all right, I'm out at this point. Because when he retired, he literally cited, like, I don't want to beat my body up like this. Like, I did it, I tried it, but I don't want to beat my body up like this. And Andrew Luck is probably in the same boat. Like, this is a kid that's got an architecture degree from Stanford, whose dad is the CEO of the XFL. It's not like he's not going to be around football.
Right.
You know, but he did the best thing for him. He decided straight up, just, I'm tired of beating my body up like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and and think about how many guys don't make that decision and stick around and can't walk when they're 50.
Exactly. The ones that stay in for too long or end up with too many concussions or end up with something that they could have avoided by just making this adult decision.
Yeah. And and then for like those fans, I say this all the time, like glory is like athletes chasing glory and love and adoration from fans leads a lot of people down the wrong road many times. Because these same fans that are booing, we talked about this with Kevin Garnett, with Kevin Durant. As same fans that are booing you now for retiring, they're the same fans who are only going to give you, like, all they can give you is a standing ovation when you got to be wheelchaired into your Hall of Fame induction. We don't give a shit, if Floyd Mayweather can't feed himself when he's 50, but we'll talk shit about him because, he don't want to mix it up and get hit enough. Like, fans are so fickle, man. So I'm, shout out for Andrew Luck for making the best decision for himself.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Straight up.
Yeah. So money. So I know when there's been a lot of comparisons, especially earlier in Luck's career, that comparison between him and Cam Newton. They kind of came out around the same time. They were both bigger quarterbacks who were pretty mobile. And we've seen over the last couple of years, Cam suffer, some pretty, substantial injuries, especially to his shoulder, his throwing shoulder. Now I think he's got an ankle injury now. So just little things that are starting to build up. What are the Panthers doing anything like schematically wise to kind of like give some longevity to his career, or or holding back from him running so much, or the design quarterback runs? Are they doing anything to try to look out for him as he crosses 30?
No, not that I can tell. Not that I can tell. Not watching the game plan. Not watching. Now they protect him a lot more. The league's done some things to protect players in the off season and
everybody but Cam.
Yeah,
and I'm not a Panthers fan, but Cam gets shitted on in that rule.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just as far as like, no more 2-a-days in 95 degrees, like that type of stuff. Yeah. Training camp's a little less.
True.
There's not as much. There are things you hit one day in practice versus every day. So the league has done some things to protect players. The Panthers organization, they've done some things to protect Cam in terms of, not letting him practice. To protect his shoulder and things like that. But the game plan, The game plan hasn't really changed. We've never really had outside of our Super Bowl year, we've never really had a good off. There have been seasons where Cam's gotten killed.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember a 5 or 6 or 7 game stretch, that 7-9 year when we still ended up making the playoffs, or 7-8-1 or whatever. There was a stretch where we lost about 5 games in a row, and every single one of those games, boy, Cam was getting creamed 2 seconds after the snap.
Yeah.
So if we did draft Little to be the Cam protector, so hopefully it's not with the luck. And the Colts finally did make some personnel decisions to help Andrew Luck, but I think in his case it was too little too late. Yeah. But quarterbacks in general have to, so you look at the quarterbacks that are especially of age that don't get hit as many times. You look at the Tom Brady's and the Drew Breeses and things like that. The ball's also gone with them in an average of 3 seconds.
Right.
So some things that quarterbacks have, there's A, they don't get touched, and B, the ball's gone. Right. So Cam's got to learn if he wants to have a very long, prosperous, extended career that A, we've got to protect him, and B, the ball's got to be gone. So, hopefully he begins to transition now as he's finally hit 30. Hopefully he'll transition now into Cam's gonna run though. That's just part of what he does to be dangerous, and that's more of a his decision thing. But we'll see what happens. I think it's been even. I think the team's done some things. I think Cam's done some things, but I think a lot of that lies within Cam's ability to change his game a little bit, to be in that quick 1, 2, 3, then the ball's gone quarterback.
All right. Yeah. And it can be done. If you look at, quarterback of my favorite team, you look at Ben Roethlisberger early in his career, he was that guy. He was Cam. He was throwing guys off of him, hanging on to the last second, stiff-arming defensive tackles. Same shit Cam does. But they made the change to bring in Todd Haley so he can get the ball out quicker, and totally so they can, extend his career, and put the pieces around him to protect him better. That's my only concern with Cam, is that Norv Turner's offense has never been geared towards quick passing. He likes to get the ball down the field. He did a lot of long developing routes. So again, like you said, that's a Cam decision. He's going to have to, again, just if he wants to extend his career, he's going to have to make that choice himself.
Yeah, I agree.
So, nextly, we talked about this probably a couple seasons ago, Al, and I kind of wanted to bring it up again now, since it's been, of course, every year is a new year, but it's been it's a lot of turnover in a matter of a couple years in the NFL. So, first to you, Al, at this point in the NFL, who do you think is the most indispensable player to their team? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think your answer to this question 2 years ago was Aaron Rodgers.
You got action?
Al? Did we lose Al?
My fault.
Okay.
My fault. Gotta press mute when you talking. So,
all right.
I think I had Odell Beckham.
Oh, may have been, yeah. May have been Odell.
But that was probably, at the time, I thought like the Giants were going to compete for a playoff spot, so they needed him. So right. I'm not going to pick Barkley this time because they not going anywhere anyway, so they're going to suck this year. So I don't know if they need him or not, because whether he's there or not, they might only win 4 or 5 games. So I'm going with who I think is just that dude, so I'm just going to shout him out now and say Mahomes, Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I just think he's such a difference maker for that franchise with the weapons that they have. That, I mean, they giving him weapons, but he has the ability to make the most out of it and make that offense high powered. And I think with that high powered offense, they're gonna be hard to mess with and coming out the AFC. So I think, I just think this is his time for him to really dominate in the AFC for the next 5-6 years. I like him like that.
Oh, yeah, damn good answer. Money, who's the most indispensable player right now in the NFL?
I actually completely disagree with the Pat Mahomes thing. I think Alex Smith had that same offense, that same scheme, and they were the best team in the AFC the year before, and they still jettisoned Smith out of there in favor of Mahomes. So I don't. Now I think Mahomes is immaculately talented. I still think that you could put other quarterbacks in that offense, and them, the Chiefs. But I'm not sure who the Chiefs' backup is. But the Chiefs' backup may be able to come and still have the Chiefs sitting very, very pretty. Now I'll say this: I watched Cam bang up his ankle in a preseason game, and we had 57 total yards of offense the whole game.
Wow.
I don't think we had any more yards of offense after he left the game.
Who's your backup?
Man, Allen, somebody I don't even know. Somebody Allen,
Kyle Allen,
Kyle Allen, Will Greer, and Heineke.
Tyler Heineke.
But all three of them look. I mean, the whole preseason they have all looked like super trash. So I'm out out of fear of sounding like a homer. I'm gonna say Cam Newton, or any of these, quarterbacks that are franchise quarterbacks that don't kind of have really, really souped up offenses. Because even if you look at my pivots for the Colts, I think the Colts will be okay with Brissett. They're kind of geared to kind of plug and play in that system. So I don't think they're gonna just fall off the face of the earth. I think the Colts will be okay. There's some teams that can manage if their quarterback is hurt, and then other teams are not going to be very good at all. A la the Houston Texans.
Most teams ain't gonna be good, right? Most teams wouldn't be good.
Yeah, most. Right. Well, I said a few. That's why I said a few. There are a few teams that if their starting quarterback gets hurt, they can kind of muddle along, because their backup's pretty good. But for the most part, teams like the Panthers and the Texans and Seattle and some of those other teams, if their quarterback gets hurt, their seasons, they're done.
Yeah. West Coast, what say you?
Yep, I 50% agree with Money for a change. Pat Mahomes is the answer I have. Chad Henne is his backup.
And now Chad Henne's hurt. So they just signed a guy to replace Chad Henne.
That's all I'm saying. Like, it's not as plug and play as it seems. Like, Alex Smith was a former number 1 overall pick who was actually a really, really cerebral quarterback who didn't have a big arm. So him in Andy Reid's system makes sense. A lot of screens, a lot of short things. Get the ball out of your hands quick. Pat Mahomes has a big arm. And he still does all of the things that Andy Reid needs. There are a lot of screens, a lot of short passes, but randomly throw the ball to Tyreek Hill while he's striking down the side of the line. So that's the part I disagree on. I completely agree with you that it's Cam and Mahomes together are the two most indispensable players, because the Panthers, for real, just fall apart. Cam's not there, everything goes wrong from that point forward. Defense is on the field for too long. Offensive line looks like they can't figure out who they're supposed to block for anymore.
Oh, well, we can't figure out who we're supposed to block anyway.
In general, that's
even
true.
Even when he is on the field, which is why out of the 6 snaps he took, he was hit 4 times.
All right.
It's like, God.
Yeah, man. So, but Patrick Mahomes is he's not plug and play, and he doesn't have a backup. So, like, if he goes down, Kansas City's entire season's done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'd have to go with Russell Wilson. If Russell gets hurt, like he hides so much of the deficiencies of that roster. They probably consistently, at least amongst contenders, have had the worst offensive line. I guess it'd be a running tie between them and Houston. So he masked so many deficiencies on that team that if he's not playing, I don't even they'd be in line for the number 1 overall pick. Like that's how. So, but of course, like like Money said, you can throw a dart, and chances are, whatever team you land on, you take away the quarterback, they're going to be significantly worse.
Well, see, I feel like, though, the Seahawks depth chart is not – they still got Paxton Lynch, Geno Smith. At least these are names of people who've thrown an NFL pass and looked like an NFL quarterback for at least a game.
Yeah, but, like, their offensive line, and maybe not as bad this year, since, they've gotten they got from Houston. Forgot his name. The left tackle, Dwayne Brown. Now that they have Dwayne Brown, it's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, they still got Mike Iupati. Like, they're all right on the left side, at least.
Yeah. And even Iupati's not his weakness has always been pass protection.
True. He's a run blocker.
Yeah. And, I mean, if they got to roll with Paxton Lynch, I'm thinking they probably in line for the number 1 overall pick.
They're damn sure if they got to go with Geno Smith.
Or if they got to go. Geno probably the 3rd overall pick.
I don't know. Yosh going to hate me for it, but the Giants are still in the league. You know that, right?
What league is that?
Why I keep hearing all this shit about how the Giants going to be good?
They are still in the league. Like
you must be getting it from Giant fans.
I mean, I don't
think. I feel like the number 1 pick. They're always in the running.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think that. I definitely don't think the Giants are going to be like a playoff team. I don't think they're going to be as bad as some people are saying they're going to be. There are worse, at least from what we know now, and of course, all of this is on paper. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, as far as like draft positioning, overall record, I'd take the Giants over like the Bengals at this point.
Oh, I forgot the Bengals are still in the league too.
Yeah,
the Redskins. I'm not
Washington, right?
The Bengals have
the Cardinals.
The Bengals have a quarterback who has been an All-Pro. They have
so do the Giants.
Who has been an All-Pro.
But
they have a
AJ's out. AJ's out.
No, he should be good to go.
Not for the
AJ Green.
Yeah,
AJ should be good to go by week 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's gonna miss a couple games, and then after that, like, what else do they have?
But they got AJ. They got Joe Mixon, who's projected to be all Pro Bowl caliber running back.
They still got Andy Dalton.
They still have Andy. That's what I was saying. They still have Andy Dalton. They've got a top 10 pick in John Ross if he can ever get out of the box. Like I think they have more talent than the Giants. Like all in all across that offense.
So let's look at that. So you look at, I think Eli and Dalton, that's a wash.
True.
Mixon and Saquon, that ain't even a question.
Yeah, I give Barkley over Mixon.
I'll give Barkley over Mixon.
Yeah. A healthy AJ Green, of course. It ain't too many receivers in the league going to take over AJ. So that's given to them. Giants definitely
I'll take Tyler Boyd over any of the Giants receivers.
Word. I'll do that too.
Yeah, I would. Offensive line, definitely the Giants. The Bengals have one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and they probably got worse now.
That's their problem.
Right.
Yeah, that's been their problem for like 2 years.
So,
and their defense is very undisciplined. Well, at least it was.
Yeah, Burfict's gone. And they still got Geno. They still got Geno Atkins. And Carlos Dunlap. New coach. We'll see what the offense does. I mean, that's like... I mean, they're both pretty bad teams. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the Giants are like the Browns of 10 years ago.
Nah.
Oh,
no.
And I think, while I'm saying 4 or 5 wins, I would imagine they're probably going to be competitive in the majority of them. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they're going to win them.
Right.
I don't think they're going to get mopped and blown out. I just don't expect them to. Looking at their schedule, I'm looking at 4 or 5 wins.
Yeah, and 2 of those are going to be Washington. So Washington's definitely worse than the Giants.
Yeah,
only reason I say Washington is...
I don't know. The Washington's defense is going to be good.
Yeah, but Washington...
They're not going to score no points.
Right. They ain't going to score... Exactly. Because the 2 options you got at quarterback are a rookie and Colt McCoy or Case Keenum. That's 3 options. Like, none of those are promising. And who's their number 1 receiver? Josh Dotson.
I was about to say that wide receiver.
Josh Dotson. He's not bad.
He ain't a number 1.
He's injury prone.
Right, he's injury prone.
But when he's on the field, he's not bad.
So is Jordan Reed. He's injury prone.
Right. That's like, and so are 2 of those, like Case Keenum and Colt McCoy are both injury prone, and Trenton Williams is holding out.
Oh yeah. I think young boy gonna get in early. Haskins.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's some teams that you look at. I don't think Arizona's going to be really any good this year. Some teams that are probably worse than the Giants. I think the Giants are just an easy target right now because of Eli. And
because of Eli?
Yeah, I mean, Eli's an easy target. He makes them an easy target to talk shit about. Like, Eli's always been an easy target to talk shit about.
I mean, this is probably the one year that I feel like their receiving core actually can just be ridiculed openly. You got suspensions.
I think their receivers are just not good.
Right,
I don't know, like
openly ridiculed.
I don't know. I think there are worse receiving cores in the league than when you look at Cody Latimer, Benny, what's his name? I don't know. He's pretty decent with the Benny Davis. With the he was decent with the Broncos. So I mean, I assume he's gonna be decent with the Giants. And then Sterling Shepard's not bad. Golden Tate's out for 4 games when he gets back. I mean, they're not great, but I can think of worse receiving cores. Like Seattle's receiving cores. They're like
on paper, it's not good. It's Lockett and then no one else. Yeah, sure. I agree. I agree. But for whatever reason, Russell Wilson always makes you forget about that.
Yeah, and that's when he hides a lot of deficiencies on that team. Miami has Kenny Stills and a bunch of dudes who can't stay healthy. I mean it's some pretty bad receiving cores out there. Definitely. I mean, the Giants easily are. They're gonna get a top 10 draft pick. I just don't think they're this lock of a worst team in the league. That I'm like Al. I think they'll be competitive in a lot of games. I don't think they'll win a lot, but I think they're good enough to be competitive in some games. especially when you got a guy. A guy like Saquon, it opens up a lot.
They still have Saquon.
Yeah. So we'll see. I want my money, Yosh. Send me that check for talking up your Giants. That's all we got, man. Al, you ready to hit us over the head with some trivia?
Yeah, man. Y'all ready?
Let me get this dub, yo.
Shit.
Let me get this dub, yo.
Can we? Who won last week? What did we look like last week? Anybody remember?
What did we do last week?
Oh.
Who hosted?
Pooh hosted. JU won.
Okay.
Then Pooh have us texting shit in and all kind of stuff.
Oh, I know. I did. That was the one where we were doing.
No, that was
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
That was Country
Right.
Bro.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, last week was a list.
Last week was a list. Did I do the list last week?
No, I think I did.
Yes, you did, because we had
Yes,
an
I
abbreviated
did.
show and you had an abbreviated trivia. That's right.
Right,
I think
500.
Jake-
It was 500 passing yards. Yep, JU won.
Okay. Yes.
Okay,
all right.
so we'll go JR, West Coast, and then Money. You was out saving hoes last week, so we're gonna make you laugh.
Say that.
So we go in. We go in 4 categories, and you have 3 possible questions to ask. You have a 10-pointer, a 30-pointer, and a 50-pointer. So 10, 30, and 50, and 4 categories. So the first category is Coming to America. And these are foreign players who made their mark in the United States. The second one...
Any sport?
Any sport.
Okay.
Any sport. The second one is early retirees. And these are people who retired early in the NFL, only in the NFL.
Okay.
The next category, third category, is Gone Too Soon. But this is baseball. These are people who passed away. So I'm going to give you a description. You got to give me who the person was. And double pointer, if you can tell me what year that guy died, I'll give you double points on that question. And then the fourth category is hip hop culture, but it's random. So it's just 3 random questions. And if you get the answer, you get the points. 10, 30, 50.
Wow. All
right. So who we going? Oh, JR first. What you got?
Let me go early retirees NFL for 50.
For 50. Okay. The clue is one of the best wide receivers in the 1970s. He was the first receiver to be named the MVP of a Super Bowl, retired at the age of 30 after 9 NFL seasons. Injuries and opportunity to get into broadcasting on a full-time basis is why he retired for good before the 1983 season.
I'm going to go Lynn Swan.
That would be correct. That's 50 for you.
I picked the right one.
Yes, sir. That was perfect. I'm like, couldn't have gone to a better dude. Okay, who's next? West Coast. What you got?
Let me have the foreign-born peoples. Let me have my foreign friends. My friend, give me
America.
foreign people.
Which one you want? 10, 30, or 50?
Buddy, I take 50 points. Okay, buddy?
Points. I got you. Okay, this foreign-born dude, he was born in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, was drafted in the 13th round of the 1999 Major League Baseball draft.
You're talking
As a
about
rookie,
Big Papi.
You answered quickly, but you was wrong. That would be Albert Pujols.
Oh, you talking about Pujols? Okay.
I'm talking about Pujols.
Okay. That's okay, buddy. That's okay, my friend.
Okay, I like the quick answer though. That's confidence.
The abbreviated answer.
Man,
Right,
what it is.
trying to make this show quicker and quicker. What you got, money?
Man, I'm not sure if I like any of these topics. Give me the injured joint.
Injured retirees.
Yeah.
Okay. What are 10 or 30?
30.
One of the best receivers of his era, this megastar was just 30 years old when he hung up his cleats for good after the 2015 season. A 6-time Pro Bowler who twice led the NFL in receiving yards. 10.
Calvin Johnson?
That would be Calvin Johnson.
It's funny. He
Just
kind
happened
of
to
gave you a
be
hint.
Gave you a hint.
Star.
Mega
I
star.
threw that in there.
Yeah.
Megastar.
All right.
JR.
All right. Shit, let me close this out. Let me get early retirees for 10.
So he was just 29 years old when he stepped away from the NFL following the 1965 season. He was the reigning rushing champion and a year removed from leading his franchise to their first NFL title. He decided to pursue acting instead of prolonging his NFL career.
Jimmy Brown.
That would be Jimmy Brown. Yes, sir. Okay. West Coast.
Buddy, I think I go back to foreign people, buddy.
Coming to America, you
My
want
friend.
10 or 30? Which one? 10 or
My
30?
friend, let me have 30, my friend.
My man. Here we go. Regarded by many as the best soccer player of all time, the all-time leading scorer of the Brazil national team, and the only player to be part of 3 World Cup winning squads. He is credited with significantly raising public interest in soccer in the United States.
Buddy, that's Pele, buddy.
That would be Pele, my man. Okay. See what happens when you listen to the whole clue?
I was going to cut you off in the middle, buddy. I was. You
Better cut you off and say, Freddie, I do. Freddie, I
As
do.
soon as you said 3 World
Get my
Cups,
clue
buddy,
out.
I was going to. Like I know the foreign people, buddy. My friend, I know the foreign people.
We coming back. Hey, what you got, money? You headed.
What we go? What's out here still? What's out here? What we got?
So you got 10 incoming to America. Early retirees is gone. You got Gone Too Soon, 10, 30, and 50, and then Hip Hop Culture, 10, 30, 50.
Let me go. Hip hop culture 30.
Name 2 members of the Migos.
Man.
9.
That
Oh,
was the best
man.
response.
Come on, man.
Yo.
Money, come on.
This been the trivia question before I get the shit. Blowout and Rick Raff. I can't remember the name.
Oh, blow out riff raff.
Anybody answer? Just
Offset and take off.
Quavo.
yeah.
And Quavo.
Quavo.
All right.
Quavo, Offset, and Take Off. There you go.
I knew that shit. That's who I was trying to think of. I can't never remember them names. Them niggas' names, man. Y'all know that was a trivia question before I got it and I did not know.
Oh, wow.
That's hilarious again.
Wow, that's funny. Okay.
Jay, I think it was one of Keon's.
It probably was. Yes, it was. I remember that.
Oh, man. I'm recycling questions. That sucks.
Oh, man.
but-
Apparently it ain't working.
Apparently, right? Keep slip that.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna have, you know what? Because it's been a trivia question twice, I'm gonna actually have to learn them niggas' names now. Take off, Offset, and Quavo.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
And
I was
and,
close though. What did I think
You
I
said,
said?
yeah.
Take
You
off?
said, no, you said blow out and riff.
said
Blow out and riff raff. That's close enough.
That's not close.
Yeah.
That doesn't qualify.
Right.
At least you knew there was 2 syllables.
Yeah.
Blowout,
Right.
riff raff.
Yeah.
Like you was a step away from saying Pebbles and Bam Bam.
Right. Oh man. Shit. Let me get the hip hop culture for 50.
Oh shit.
Okay. So in 1988, there was this song called "Self Destruction," right? To combat anti-hip hop backlash and talk about violence and all that. There were 14 MCs on the song. Name 5.
Holy shit. All right, so KRS One.
That's 1.
MC Light.
That's 2.
Blowout.
Riff Raff.
Right. MC Delight.
Yeah, that's 3. That's a solid.
D Nice.
That's 4.
And fuck, what was her name? Oh, Miss Melody.
That's 5.
All right.
The other remaining people were
What's the dude
Daddy-O,
from Daddy-O? That's who I couldn't think of. That's a Sonic. Yeah.
Wise, Fuquan, all of the Stetsasonic crew, Chuck D.
Oh, yeah. All right.
All right, Flavor Flav,
Public Enema. They had that Public Enema that was in there.
Dougie Fresh.
Damn, yeah, Dougie was there.
How you forget Heavy D,
Right. Yeah. Damn.
Just Ice, and Kool Mo D.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Okay, that's into that roster. Okay.
Today's
50.
topic, self-destruction. It really is. Okay.
Really into Top 40 is bugging. West Coast J, where you at?
Buddy, I go back to reporting people, buddy.
He is consistent. He knows his strength, and he's staying right there.
Buddy, I know the technique. I be make this technique for a long time, buddy. It's okay, my friend. It's okay.
Hey, run that playbook.
He said he know the foreign people.
Here you do.
Coming to America for 10. He came to the NBA from Germany in 2001.
Dirk Nowitzki, buddy.
Damn. You got it. That's 10. Money, where you at?
I know the foreign people, buddy. That's all I know, buddy.
Not no more.
That one-
They gone.
That category's gone, so you're going to have to say something else next time.
And get a new accent.
Broaden your horizons. What you want, Money?
Give me the hip hop. Give me the last one, the hip hop.
The last one. What is the name of the 2011 joined project? They did this album together by Kanye West and Jay-Z. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Niggas in Paris.
Niggas in Paris was a single.
That's a
monster.
song on that. Watch. What's the name? Magna Carta Holy Grail.
No.
Hell no.
Song on that.
Watch the Throne, Pepe.
Watch the
Watch
throne.
the throne. That's the first shit I was about to say. Watch the throne.
What's the third shit you actually said?
Correct.
I was gonna say, didn't I say that shit?
No.
Absolutely did not.
Absolutely did not.
Money be trying to play Jedi mind tricks on the trivia, right? So he'll just throw out some crazy shit, and then 2 seconds later, did I say that? I said that. I know I did.
Not exactly. So just a little
Watch the throne
school.
did pop into my head though, for real.
Sort of. You said watch. Just
You
say
said watch. Yeah.
I got JR, who has a score of 110. West Coast got 40. Money has 30. And we in the last round, and the only questions left are gone too soon. 10, 30, and 50.
Oh man. All right. Shit. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me get that going too soon for 50, so they can't get it.
And again, if you know the year this person passed away, you get double points. This player was one of baseball's most iconic players, even though he played almost 80 years. It's been almost 80 years since his last game. He finished his career with a 340 lifetime average, played a whopping 2,130 consecutive games, He passed away in 1941, less than 3 weeks shy of his 38th birthday. Who is that player? 10.
Lou Gehrig?
That would be Lou Gehrig. You know the year he passed away.
1941?
1941, Al. You literally put it in the question.
I did put that in the question.
You did. But
Literally,
it ain't my fault.
In the question.
It is your fault. Sorry, can't give it to you.
What?
I'll give you 50, but we do not give credit for technical glitches.
I was like, man, fire your secretary.
I will fire the secretary. But no, we don't do that. Okay, what you got, West
this is going to be easy.
Give me the 30, bro.
It's real easy.
Is this a trick question? I don't know what the fuck.
1941? All right. Cool. Damn. Oops. Okay, what you got, man?
Give me the 30.
30.
And I see dead people.
Gone too soon. One of the most dominant starting pitchers during his brief 4-year career with the Marlins. He went 12-6 with a 2.19 ERA in 2013 to earn NFL Rookie of the Year honors, while also finishing third in the NFL Cy Young voting at just 24-year-old.
I'm confused.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry.
1941. Oh, okay.
While also finishing third in the National League Cy Young voting. At just 24 years old, he died in a boating accident in Miami, Florida, less than 48 hours before he was scheduled to make his final start of the season. Who is this pitcher?
He got a Latin name as hell.
You said you
Jose Fernandez.
Yeah. Jose Fernandez. A dominant pitcher. Died at 24.
He did. He was doing very well. I remember now because a lot of people cry over this in 2016, man.
Then he's one of the dudes that drowned.
I give you that.
Yeah.
Is he one of the dudes that drowned on?
It was like the boat crashed.
Capsized or something. Something crazy.
Yep.
Like it crashed. Like it looked any kind of way. It was crazy.
Money. Last question. Gone too soon for 10.
Blowout.
Hall of Famer.
Rick Raff.
15-time All-Star. He died in a New York Eve plane crash while attempting to help deliver supplies to earthquake victims in Nicaragua. He won 4 batting titles, 12 gold gloves, was a 1966 NFL MVP, and finished with exactly 3,000 hits, the last of which came on his final big league at bat.
He played in the league too?
Nah, he meant Major League Baseball again.
Oh, okay.
You really do got to fire an assistant.
Right.
My fault. I got to work on that. It's past 2 hours. I done got, I got accustomed to the short show.
I don't know this one.
What?
Yeah, right. That's the easy one. Anybody want to throw it out there for him?
Roberto Clemente. He was just a trivia answer on here about a month ago.
There he was.
December 31st, 1972.
Right.
Great dude. Good dude. So I'll just say I'm not gonna read out the scores, but I will say this: nobody was blanked like regular Scott. Y'all should at least feel better than him.
Shots fired, regular.
Right.
Hey, somebody got to remind me when he caught a blank because they can't hear it.
The lost tapes.
Right, the lost tapes.
Oh, man. Well.
Yeah, congratulations, Jay. There you go.
Appreciate it. Shout out to Lynn Swan for getting me started off right. Al, you hosted, man. What you got for me?
Man, Labor Day weekend coming up, and hope everybody has opportunity to get some rest, relaxation, spend some time with family, and just be safe out there and enjoy the show. Look forward to, being up here next week, because next week is the release of the Defy Life Network Top 10 GOAT MC list.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that next week.
All right. West Coast, what's goody?
Oh man, the simplest as always. I would like to give a shout out to those that are playing in the U.S. Open right now. Corey Goff, that 15-year-old phenom, won in the first round again, coming from behind.
Yeah.
So that's going on. Although Sloane Stephens lost and broke my heart.
Oh wow.
So that's happening.
Who cousin?
Yeah, I know. But other than that, man, reading is fundamental. That's all I got.
All right. Money, what you got for me?
Man, I don't have too much. Just want to let the people know, man, we got big things coming, planned for the end of Q3 on the network and throughout the Defy Life world. So that's that fall line coming. Everybody check it out. Still loving all the support that we're getting. The growth is crazy. You already know what I'm gonna say, man. If you're not rocking with Defy Life, what's your life about?
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't got nothing crazy, man. Shout out to Pooh, who missed you tonight. So I hope you got to the end of that body bag book. Hope it was good reading for you. We'll talk to you next week. But yeah, man, definitely look out for everything we got coming up on the network and Defy Life in general. This fall line about to drop. It's fire. And we got the network specific website coming. So it's all podcasts all the time. And yeah, so that's it, man. That's all I got. Shout out to all the other shows on the network. All our listeners, we'll talk to you again next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Yep, Defy Life, yo.
Sexual.
Welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. New episode every Tuesday on the Defy Life Podcast Network. And remember, if you're not defying life, then what are you doing? Lynn and Kim.